Mom's pearls. Mom's pearls. Mom's pearls. Mom's pearls. Mom's pearls.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mom's Pearls, the show where we answer all life's questions.
Yeah.
I'm here today with my co-hosts Leah and Shayla.
Hello.
We're all moms and we're sisters in Christ. So, hey, ladies.
Hey.
Guess
Hello.
what we're about to embark on?
What?
We're about to do a few episodes, you guys, on parenting.
Really?
Being a parent. That's a lot to talk about.
Work.
You better
It's
believe
a what?
It's work.
Talk about work. I'd rather have lots of jobs
Indeed.
than just one being a parent. But it is the most rewarding job I have
Yes,
to
it
say.
is. Yes,
You
it
know, it is.
Yes,
And it's a lot of work. There's no right. There's no wrong. It's just God's guiding your steps every day. Good
That's
day.
right.
Like everything else, you make mistakes. You know,
That's
they're
That
not
is so
perfect.
true. Remember that. Look,
But
ain't no perfect
everybody
parent. Let's work
has
on that.
different opinions
No,
on
that's true.
parenting.
That's true.
You know, we look at it all differently. You know, we're all mothers. You know,
Right.
different generation. You're a newer mom. You know, younger
And the
generation,
older moms.
and we're the
Still
older
learning.
moms,
All mine grown.
and we're still learning. You know, because still, even when they get grown, there's still the problems
You
get bigger.
better say it,
They
baby.
get bigger.
You better
So-
say it. That's real.
We're gonna have a guest today,
Okay.
Okay?
and our guest you're gonna love.
All right.
She's a person who has a lot of ideas, and she's going to give a different perspective on parenting. And she's a non-parent. So,
Really?
yes.
So no children.
She
to
gets
go
a
along
bunch of
with her lot of
perspective on
ideas.
parenting, but she has no
She's
kids.
going to say how she sees us.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
All right.
it's going to be great.
I'm ready.
So now, before we introduce our guest, though, everybody stay tuned and look at this gift.
All right, it's time to go home. Why not? But it's time to go home. Haley, we're going home whether you want to or not. Yes, we're going home. Yes, it's time to go home. So that's what we do now? Is that going to help you stay here? Why? Well, it's time to go home. Yes, it's time to go home. You gotta cut that out right now.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
We'd like to welcome
Hello.
you, our guest speaker,
Look at you.
the beautiful Rachel Lloyd.
Yay!
Hello, ladies.
Yeah.
I am so excited to be here with you all today. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to have you all watching. You know, you all invited me to be here
Right.
and
Yes.
give you my perspective
Yes.
as a non-parent on this parenting series.
Right.
And I think that's super appropriate because, as I like to say, sometimes when you're in something, it feels a little different
It does.
than when you weren't in it. And now you may be thinking, how dare you sit at this table with these beautiful mothers who all have children and you have birthed nothing? How dare you sit here and think that you can speak on parenting, right?
I did.
I do have 8 nieces and nephews.
Okay.
My siblings are breeders, what can I say? And I used to be a nanny for about 4 years.
Really?
Yes, I took care of children. I had children that were autistic. I
Right.
had older children. I had smaller children. So I used to work actually when I was in university. I was a teacher assistant as well. So I worked with a
did
wide
not know
variety
that.
of kids. I did. So
Wow.
while I have not birthed anything, bless the Lord, I have been around
Wow.
a lot of
So you
kids.
do have some experience.
Nothing. It pales in comparison to you moms, of course.
Wow.
It pales in
Have a little
comparison.
knowledge.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Okay,
an
you see, I keep looking
Right,
at you.
right. So,
Like,
but
wow.
I'm grateful to be here today. I'm super excited to be joining you on a series 1
Okay.
of your parenting
Parenting.
episode.
Yes.
And I think that we're gonna have a really great show today.
I think so awesome.
All right.
I think so awesome.
So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
So that skit that we saw.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen that in real life. Dare I say I've seen that among my own nieces and nephews. Excuse me, that didn't mean to come out. But I think we've all been there, right?
Yes, we have.
Yes, we
Yes,
have.
absolutely.
The screaming kid because they didn't get what they wanted,
Yes.
and the parent trying to battle decorum in the store versus snatching the kid up and slamming them upside the wall, right?
I have known that. I was in the mall with my nephew. I had all my kids. He was acting so bad. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have nothing to hit him with. And there was a belt on the wall for sale. I snatched the belt off the wall, whooped them, told the people if I damaged their property, I would pay for it. I opened it up and said, ain't nothing wrong with it, hung it back up, and went out the store. But he remembers that. He's almost 32 years old. He remembers TT getting that at Cherryvale Mall, baby.
Wow.
My son and my daughters, they took off because they were so embarrassed. But he was so, oh my Jesus. He was
out of control.
Oh,
And how did you feel once that was over?
I was angry.
Okay.
Because he had me to spank him in the store.
Right.
You know, I
So
was
it came
angry.
to that.
Because the killer part about it, when he asked for anything, if I could get it for him, I would. He was just acting up. And he ended up getting it like a month later, but he had to go on punishment. He went on punishment for 2 weeks.
Right.
You know, but he was being,
You said that was your nephew?
yes, Lord.
Okay, so he didn't live with you.
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did?
Oh, he
Yes,
did?
yes.
Oh, he
his
did?
mom, me and his mom stayed in the apartment together.
Okay.
Okay.
So we had
Well,
them there.
did he have his mother respond differently to him?
Oh no, he got a woman when he got home.
By
No,
her.
I
By his
mean,
mom.
with, was he accustomed to doing that with his mother, having a
Sure, he did with everybody.
Oh.
See, and
oh.
that-
He did it with everybody, but see, TT was the one that would get that. I don't get it like everybody else. I'm not tapping. I'm going in for the kill, and I did.
Right.
And he remembered it 30-something years later, but he ain't
I'm
never
sure
did.
he did.
He never did it again in the store, though. I bet you that.
Yeah.
I bet you that.
After an experience like that, you
No.
know, I like I said, when you're in something, it's a little bit different. I have this unique perspective because I don't have any kids.
Right, right.
So, yeah, how did you handle the kids that you were a nanny to?
So many different ways, right? Because parents all parent differently.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
we
And
have
children definitely
exactly,
do.
and
Definitely
children.
do.
I grew up differently than how I see my nieces and nephews growing up, than how you all grew up with your own parents, right? That
Right.
whole shift is different. So when I clearly remember there was 2 little boys I used to take care of. They were brothers. They were about maybe 16, 18 months apart. And one of them would go to school, and I would drop them off at school, and I would take care of the younger one. And so I'm of the belief that when I tell you to do something, I only want to tell you one time.
There
to
you
do
go.
it.
Right. One
And
time.
Because
and
that's how you were raised.
right, exactly. That's
Exactly.
how I was raised. When my mom or dad told me to do something, they told me one time, and if I didn't
Right.
do it, then there was no repeat. It was the belt coming
Consequences.
to get my butt.
There you
Exactly.
go.
So I would tell him to do something, and when he wouldn't do it the first time, because he was used to his parents giving him multiple chances, I sent him to time out.
Right.
I didn't spank him because his parents and I had had that conversation, and that was not their form of discipline, and I respected that.
Right.
So I didn't spank him. I sent him right to timeout, which was effective for him.
Right.
And so he told his father on me. He said, "Dad, Miss Rachel makes me go to timeout when I don't do something the first time she tells me to do it." And he was upset. Not the father, the son was upset because he was used to 3 and 4 chances
Right.
from his dad telling him and his mom telling him several times to go and do it. And his dad said, "Good, you need to do something the first time you're told."
Amen.
And I believe that it'll be a little bit different for him simply because I was just the nanny.
Right.
While those
Right.
were his parents giving him multiple chances.
Chances,
Right.
exactly.
So when the nanny came in, he knew that with me, he was only gonna have one
That's
time.
Right, right.
But with mom and dad,
3, 4, 5.
3, 15, 17, 19, 100,
No.
130, 20 minutes later, I'm still saying, "Johnny, put your shoe on. Put your shoe on, Johnny. Please,
And
Johnny, put your
that's
shoe
right.
on." And
that's
that's
where
the
the
problem.
problem comes in.
Okay.
That's
It's
the
a big
problem.
problem.
You shouldn't have to tell your child over and over again to do something, but they know that. You will tell them
Exactly.
over and over. They know that you don't mean it the first time. Kids are smart. They are
Oh,
so
but
smart.
I do mean it the first time. That's not true, y'all. I mean it the first time because I'm probably trying to get here, go there, do this, do that. So I don't have multiple times
But
to tell you. And it could be, too, it's for your better good.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
And I think sometimes the approach changes once they figure it out. So you say, go put your shoes on. And they say, no, I don't want to. You're going back and forth. So then the next time you tell them, go put their shoes on, instead of them saying, I don't want to, they're just going to say, I can't, Mommy. I need you to help me.
Right.
So now you just say,
right.
okay, so do I go over and help you and we get it done and we go out the door?
Right.
Or do I say, no, you do it by yourself and then I come back later and you're still sitting there
So-
and you say, Mommy, I need you to help me. I'm waiting on you to help me.
That's a great point.
Or do you leave them with no shoes?
That's the thing. Here we go. That is a really
Come
good
on.
point. You know your kid. Do they really need your help, or are they just saying that because they don't want to do it?
They might not need my help.
Okay.
But at the point that I say, well, you go do it by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and they're sitting there, and then we still haven't, because I haven't said it more than once.
Okay.
I just went on to do what I need to do. Then I come back, and they're like, Mommy, no, I need your help. Okay, no, you don't need my help. Get
No.
the shoe on. And then I go back. So is there a point where I say, okay, I'm not going to tell you again. I will just get the belt and get a spanking, and you still don't have your shoes on, or...
Yeah, yes, 100%. Because if you know that your child does not really need your help, if you know for 100%, this child can put their shoes on. I've seen them do it. They're just being obstinate, stubborn,
better
hard-headed,
say it,
trying
girl.
my life right now,
Come on.
whatever.
That's it.
Then we need to address that immediately. So that tomorrow, when I say go put your shoes on,
You gonna
you
put
think
them shoes
twice
on.
about pulling the, oh, but Mommy, I need your
That's
help.
right.
Okay.
So you think twice about it. Now, if you know that maybe your child does need some help, that's entirely different because maybe they do. But if you know that they can put those shoes on, then you need to address that. I think the point of this here that I just really want to stress is that you have to start from the beginning. We have to begin well. When the child is a baby, you have, and I have a 1-year-old nephew. When the child is a baby, you have to start by telling them, yes, no. Here's
Right.
what we're going to do, and here's what we're not going to do.
Because they'll tell you at that age.
Exactly.
Right.
It's so important that we begin with our children at the beginning well. And I think that's one of the hardest parts because they're so cute. And I just look at them, all my nieces and nephews, I let them do whatever they want. Go for it. You're not mine. Do it. I encourage bad behavior.
So we
You
have
know,
somebody
the
working
bubbles.
against us.
You
parents.
know, right. I am
And then
that.
she's gonna
I'm that
talk about
aunt.
us.
I am that aunt. You know, give it to them. Sure, do it. Let me teach you, okay? But we have to start at the beginning, nipping those behaviors in the bud. Letting the cute, gorgeous child know that you're so adorable, but I mean, don't touch that.
Exactly.
And if they try and touch it again, whatever your form of discipline, spanking is, you enforce that discipline at that time. It's imperative
I-
that you begin
I
well.
do agree. My grandson was 15 months old, and his father spanked him on his little legs, and I saw his little thighs turn red. And I was like, okay, he says, Ma, he has to learn. He knows better. And I did step back because I know he was right.
Right.
He was right. The boy did know, even though he was young.
Yes.
But he knew. And
But then-
and see, that's the fine line when you have to, because as grandparents, no. But you have to learn this. Sometimes you have to step back.
But see,
It's for the better good.
Then, when you said his skin turned red, how hard did he hit him?
He didn't.
How old was the
He
baby?
didn't, because he likes Indian.
Okay.
Okay.
So the
No,
quick
crazy.
disclaimer for all the crazy people out there.
I didn't say he was abusing
Right,
the child.
exactly.
He gave that
Disclaimer.
little, he
I
gave
said,
that
how
little
hard
snap.
did he hit him? He turned red.
We
Well,
do not.
He didn't have anything on his legs.
And he
No,
was lighter
tried
of the lighter
Yes.
persuasion,
Yes.
okay? We do not support in any form abuse.
No.
Child abuse.
No,
No.
that's not what we're
Adult
saying.
abuse.
But he
Y'all heard me
tapped-
say that, right?
Right.
tapped him on the
No
leg.
abuse. No spanking your kid when you're
And
angry.
He,
None of that.
What he did with his foot, and he knew he shouldn't have done it.
Okay.
And because he had told him not to.
Okay.
Too. And that's the
Consequences.
There was a consequence.
Okay.
And listen, I'm just being a grandmother. Of course, I'm gonna say,
Of
you
course.
know, whatever.
Right.
Because
Of
I'm
course.
thinking,
You're the
don't
grandma.
touch him.
Yes.
I'm the grandmother. I don't want him to touch him.
Right.
I
Exactly.
do, my baby.
Right,
Precious.
right.
But
Growing up, my granny always told me, don't leave no whips, don't leave no marks on
Oh,
these
of
skins.
course.
You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
But they beat the brakes off us. You get what I'm saying? And the parts that we had the whips on, We couldn't show nobody because it was on our behind. They didn't hit no legs, they didn't hit no arms, no back, no chest. They got that butt.
I got one time I had to wear long sleeves in June to school, so.
Back in the day, they
That
had the
was-
whipping willow
Oh,
trees.
goodness.
They would get the whipping willow
The switch.
switches. Girl, you better ask somebody.
And now you pull a spanking out and they're ready to take the parent to jail. And they're calling it, child
Child
abuse
abuse.
and all that. So that just shows you, like we said at the beginning, the difference in the generations. But the point remains the same, that you want to start at the beginning
Yes.
with raising a child
Right.
Right,
in a responsible manner.
yes.
I
Whether
agree.
or not you chose to be a parent. Because we all know that everybody out there who has kids right now, it was not intentional.
Right.
Very true.
Life happens.
That's
Life
so very
happens. We
true.
acknowledge that.
Yes.
And sometimes you end up with a kid and you were not expecting that. Maybe
Right.
you're not married. You don't have the resources to provide for the kid to take care of it. That happens.
Oh, that happens a lot.
However, you have to put your big girl panties on, your big boy underwear on, and raise that child in a responsible manner.
That's
It is
true.
now your responsibility to make the best respectable kid into an adult that you can.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
You have to do it, because if we wait too long to start, then it's just going to be more difficult later on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
but
all
Because
seen those.
somebody else is gonna be disciplining your child.
Exactly.
And that's where
I
we're at.
know-
We're in the school system, letting them go and let the school raise them. I mean, from daycare, if people don't put time in with their kids, they're going all the way through school.
And is
No.
it the school's responsibility? Is it the teacher's job to raise
No,
your kid or to
no,
teach your
not
kid?
at all.
That's
Not
Which
at
one?
all.
And I know someone who used to say all the time, if you don't discipline your kid, the world will.
You better
Oh,
say it.
for
That's
sure.
real.
For
So,
sure.
That's real.
and
That's
we've all
real.
seen those kids that are 15 and 16 years old cussing their parents out, right?
Not
But
here.
they're not even 15 and 16.
You're right.
Younger than that.
They're
They're
9,
eight,
they're
7.
8. Exactly.
I saw a 3-year-old one time call his mother a really nice, not nice word
Exactly.
in the store because having a tantrum.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh wow. And the way he said it was like
He
that's
said it
what
before.
he was
probably.
accustomed to hearing. So
Exactly.
it probably is that's what he hears daddy say to mom.
Exactly,
So-
and that's another part of parenting
Yeah.
that's really
No
important to
way
bring
in the
out as
world.
well, because I know my husband goes on different jobs all the time, and he's constantly telling me how the parents are addressing the children. You ain't this, get up off the floor, you this. They're telling 2-year-olds to shut this up, and I mean just all manner of language to their children, and so then they are exhibiting that type of behavior
Right,
as well.
right,
so
right.
I mean, it's both ways when it comes
Yeah.
to
I
parenting.
agree.
Because it takes 2 people, usually, right?
It takes a
And-
village.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Amen. Who
Yeah.
said
That's
amen
what
to
we
that?
need.
Right.
I'll take a village.
Everybody thinks that's just a saying. It takes
No,
a
it's
village.
But it really
And
does.
it takes so
It's a
many
fact.
people
Yes.
to raise one child.
It does.
One child.
Yep.
I had 4. Lord Jesus, y'all know I had me a
Sure.
compound.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying?
Yes.
And one of them to talk back, like y'all just said, the devil was a lie.
But here's the thing.
Everybody would have had on dentures.
We think talking
Everybody.
back is so extreme, right? Like, oh, she cussed her mama. My kid would never.
Look,
Your
my-
kid might not cuss you,
I don't
but
care
when
what-
you tell them to do something, do they do it?
Oh yeah. They
When
had no choice.
do they give you an attitude? Do they roll their eyes? Do they smack their lips? I'm not gonna look at anybody, but I'm gonna talk to my audience that can turn me off. But please don't turn me off, audience. I think we're making a point right
That's
here
real.
that
That's
your
real.
child may not be to the extreme of cussing you out or slamming the door in your face, but I'm sure there are other little things that they may do that you don't like when you tell them to do something
Help
that
us,
they
sister.
don't want to do.
Woo.
A little attitude or talking about their mom or stomping around, I think that does happen. I was a teenager once.
Behind my back they better did it, but in my face they wouldn't have done it.
I remember so vividly. My mom told me to do something, and I think I either rolled my eyes or I think I smacked my lips like, ugh. And she took a cup,
There you go.
and I thought she was gonna throw it at me. I just saw her hand go like this, and I turned to duck, and I hit my hip on the corner of the island in the kitchen. So bad. It was like bruised and red and swollen. But it was my fear of that cup coming that had me
Yes.
ducking and like tearing my own body
There
up.
you go.
Just in fear of the fact that how dare I,
Say it.
just
Smack your
smack
lip.
my lip. Not
Smack
cuss
your
her out,
lip.
just
No.
smack my lip. She was like, who? And I was like, eh. started.
And it is true, you know, and you know, we have to raise our children up to be productive, good human beings.
We
right?
should.
And pray over them and pray for strength to get through every day with them.
Right.
And, you know, and Proverbs 13:24 says, "Those who spare the rod hate their children."
That's true.
Okay? But those who love them diligently to discipline them.
Wow. Isn't that worth just thinking about for a second? Those who spare the rod hate their children. Just think about that for 2 seconds. You hate your kid,
Because
but
you know
those
what?
who love
We'll
them
discipline them.
are diligent to discipline them.
Of
Right.
course.
Right.
Of
So
course.
what does that say about you? Just a second of self-reflection for all my moms and dads out there. What does that say about you when you don't discipline your kid? In whatever form that you think is acceptable, when you don't do that, what does that say about you? Are you really loving your child at that point?
I've
Are you
seen
really creating them to be the best person possible? Are you really doing, are you really doing them a disservice
Yes.
Yes.
by not disciplining them?
You are.
Because the Bible also tells us that God disciplines those who he loves,
Come
right?
on now.
That's
Come
And
on.
he disciplines
Oh,
us
yes, he does.
because he
You
wants
better
to
say
see
it.
growth.
Yes, he does.
He wants us. Hebrews 12:6 tells us the Lord disciplines those whom he loves, and he chastises every child
Yes.
whom he accepts. He brought us into this fold. He wants the best for us.
Come
He
on.
wants us
Come
to be
on, girl.
productive people.
That's real.
He wants us to fulfill our potential just like we want for our babies.
That's real.
So what does he do? When we act out, he get that butt.
Hello.
Right?
Hello.
Exactly.
In his own way.
Exactly.
Hello.
But we feel it.
You know you do. I know I do.
Just like we should do for our children because we love them.
Yes.
And I love my nieces and nephews, and I love all the kids that I was so blessed to have the opportunity to take care of.
Right.
So when I saw them doing things that were unacceptable, I was like, oh no, that's not what we're gonna do.
Right,
We're
right.
gonna cut that out right now.
Right.
And we're gonna act accordingly. So, it's just imperative that you keep that in mind as you go about, when you feel like, oh no, it's okay, I'll let him get away with it. Okay, let me help you do this one time. Oh, okay, I'll look past that. It's imperative that you remember we do this out of love.
That's true.
First and foremost, it's out of love.
And so
You know how we whoop them, they say, oh, it's going to hurt me more, it's going to hurt you.
Oh.
Hello. I heard
Yeah.
that so many times, but it
Yeah.
hurt it.
I still can't
Yeah,
relate to
heard
that
it.
phrase.
oh yes, you can when that
That
belt
is
comes
true.
back on you when you putting it on.
But
there.
see, because
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
spanked,
yeah.
I don't spank my nieces and nephews, so that's why I said I can't relate.
Okay.
But my parents used to
I've
say
been
that
there.
to me, and I would just fume like, no, it
How's it
doesn't.
going to hurt you?
Right, exactly.
But in the heart it does, because some parents really want to spank their kid.
Right.
I mean, we all think they're angels, but they go act up. Don't nobody want to spank their kids, so I mean, our heart goes out when we have to whoop them. I'm just saying.
That's very
I'm just saying.
So, Miss Rachel, let me ask you, how would you, when you say you start beginning well,
Mhm.
how would you do that in a less not so good situation?
Like what?
Where you have a single parent
Okay.
household, or the single parent might have multiple children,
Okay.
and they work full time.
Wow.
So their time is they don't have any-
Valuable.
They don't have, yeah.
And
Right.
limited.
And
limited.
non-existent.
Exactly.
Right,
Right,
right, yeah,
exactly.
non-existent.
Exactly.
So here's let me throw some cold water on you, okay? And I can do it,
Okay.
and I can do it because I don't have kids, okay?
Okay.
So you're single,
Yeah.
and you work maybe 2 jobs trying to provide for your children,
And
right?
so a lot of our viewers
I
are
was
in
married
this
and worked 2
situation.
jobs.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
telling you.
Or you're married and work 2 jobs,
Yeah.
or you have a merged household.
Yep.
Your husband's got his kids from a prior marriage,
Right.
and that's always
That's
tricky,
true.
how to discipline somebody else's
Right.
child with another parent or someone else involved,
Absolutely.
right? So here we go. All right, you're in it now. So you have to make a choice. Am I going to put on my big girl panties, put on my big boy underwear, and do what I have to do because I love this child
Right.
and I want the best for them? So I know that means having a hard conversation with my husband and saying, sweetie, I love my stepson. He has this problem.
Right.
How can we fix this together? Because you have to come together with
You
your
gotta be a
spouse. If you
force.
have a spouse,
You gotta
you
have
guys have to be on the same page. Children will divide parents.
They sure will.
If mommy lets me
Oh,
get
they
away with
always
this,
play,
but
right.
dad doesn't, I will go to mommy every time.
Sure, that's
Okay?
true.
So you have to have that hard conversation because that's probably pretty
That's real.
challenging. Because he's like, well, you know, this isn't really your kid or whatever. He's got the mom maybe talking in his ear. I
Right.
don't want her touching my kid. She
Right.
better not put her hands on him. I don't know who you think this. I'm sure that could be going on as well.
Of course.
You have to do the hard thing and have that conversation because at the end of the day, your responsibility and your priority should be that child. It's not fair otherwise, guys. The kid didn't ask to be here.
Nope.
They didn't ask to come into this
say
world.
that out loud.
You made a grown decision and decided to lay down,
And-
you and he, and you
had
got
this baby.
pregnant.
Yep.
And you decided to keep it. So you had a baby. It's not fair for you to say otherwise by not doing the right thing by that child and giving them 100%. Your life sucks. You're busy. You're overworked. You're overtired. Whatever. You have a baby now. You have to raise them to be the best
But
person possible.
Sometimes it's just one person.
Yeah.
Just that
That single
mom
parent.
or just that dad.
Exactly.
Look.
Sometimes it is. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know a lady that has 17 kids. 17 kids. And her kid, I mean, every last one of them, immaculate. She was by herself. She raised them kids. She said God would never give her more than she could handle. And when she stopped having babies, I mean, they all by the same dad.
Okay.
The dad didn't stay there, but they did have their dad. And she raised them kids by herself.
Wow.
And I can applaud her. But then I know another lady had 15. Girl, you better quit. Everybody ran from them because they was gun-toting. You know what I'm saying? Even
But
the
that's
girls.
a choice. That's a choice.
They weren't brought up in the right way. They weren't brought up in the church. They weren't brought up with discipline. For real.
And that was on the parent.
That was on the parent. The 15, 17, the 17 kids were awesome.
It's a choice. Everything in life is a choice. The Bible tells us, Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart
That's
from
real.
it. Okay?
That's real.
So if
Come on.
you choose to put the work in now, at the beginning, doing what you know you have to do when you're tired, after you got off your double 12-hour shift,
Oh, Lord Jesus.
when you don't have any money in your pocket, when you choose to do the hard thing and raise the child in the way that he should go,
Wow. That's real.
it will be instilled in him and he will live that way later on. But you have to put the work in now. You can't. It has to be worth it to you.
Yes.
But it's always worth it. Well, most of the time. But sometimes some children are very challenging, and they defy everything
Oh my gosh, I know one of
that
those.
you
Oh,
tell
Lord.
them to do.
Honey, I got
I
a
think we
nephew.
all know one of those. Raise your hand,
I
right?
got a nephew on everything
all know
I
one of
said.
those.
Everything I said, and I'm looking at his mama like, really? And all I kept saying was, my. Look, and I would rock like this in the chair. Because, you know, I want to get the butt.
Right.
He would say something. I said, oh, Jesus, my. I'm looking at his mama. I'm like, really? She said, oh, he takes his medicine. Forget the medicine, get the butt. She was, oh, boy. Oh, my goodness, that boy was bad.
He was not bad. He was challenging.
No, challenging.
Challenging. There are no bad children.
Okay, I'm gonna say that he was
They're
challenging.
challenging children.
He
Active
challenged
children.
me, and his mama was sitting there. And I know he was challenging her, but I felt the challenge. I felt the challenge. Look, I wanted to
took
take.
it personal.
I took
Right,
it personal.
personal
I wanted to handle that challenge, but I couldn't.
Challenge accepted.
So, you know, and so when she put him to sleep, I told her some of the things. She was like, "Oh, he gets that from his dad." I was like, "Oh." And see, you know, I'm old school. I believe in hands-on, right?
Okay.
So with the hands-on thing, when I seen the dad, I told the dad, "You way out of pocket, bro. You get what I'm saying? You cannot tell this boy this here, and he come in here and he bring it to his mama at 7 years old. You better quit playing with me." And so he was like, "Well, she does. I don't want to hear what she does. I'm telling you what you doing to this boy that he's talking back to his mama like that."
Yep.
And so he was like, "Well, I won't." I said, "Okay, because trust me, baby. I get on a red-eye flight. I'm coming for you. Do not do this to this boy."
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart, straight A student, never missed a day in school. I'm telling you, from kindergarten, he's never missed a day in school. The boy is brilliant.
But
And
I
then-
bet at an early age he was talking back to his mom.
No,
And
you know
nobody
what?
was nipping it in the bud.
You know, that's probably right.
Because why would he think that all of a sudden, if he's never done it before, all of a sudden now I can start talking back to my mom? That's crazy.
But see,
Oh.
look,
The
look,
first
look,
time
my-
he talked back to his mom,
Uh,
Dad should have
you
got
know,
right in there.
look,
He
the
should have
dad
got
don't
right in
care.
there.
They just got divorced. The dad, so everything he says negative about his mom, the little boy is bringing it back to her. And I'm like, you shouldn't take that.
No.
You shouldn't take
She
that.
has to stop it. So if it sounds like it started happening before the divorce, but now that they're divorced, she has to stop it immediately.
Well, the
because
father
if he
shouldn't be
knows,
doing that.
no, the father shouldn't. Like you said at the beginning, this is a topic that could go on and on and on. Okay?
Forever.
And so what we really want is a wake-up call for the parents to realize that
Yes.
your kids are your responsibility. You have to nip it in the bud in the
That's
beginning.
right.
The first time your child talks back to you, the first time they tell you no, the first time they roll your eyes, smack their lips, whatever, add up, or your milder version of it, whatever it is, if your kids don't roll their eyes or smack their lips, whatever it is that they do that bothers you, because just like we don't have perfect parents, other
That's
than
right, that's
myself, we
true.
also don't have perfect kids,
Right.
okay? So the first time, I can't stand enough, it has to start at the beginning. I like to make this example. When you go to a job for the very first day, brand new job, don't know anybody, there are things that you're told you're supposed to do and you're not supposed to do.
Right.
Don't take your
Right.
phone on the floor, lunch breaks are only 15 minutes, clock in, clock out on time. Okay, so the day is going on, you go about your day. If you see other people with their phones on the floor, what are you gonna do? Take your phone out on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna try it. You're gonna see, oh, other people, maybe it's okay. Maybe not the first day.
Right.
Maybe a week or two in, you'll start trying to see what you can get away with. But let's say you don't see anybody out there on the floor doing it. But you take your phone out there. Your boss comes up to you, sees you with it the very first time, writes you up. You get a suspension. Are you gonna take your phone out on the floor again?
You know you're
No,
not.
you're not.
You know you're
That's
not.
my point. Because what did he do? He nipped it in the bud immediately.
Yeah.
He saw that you were doing something that you weren't supposed to do. You tried it because kids will try the rules just to see what they can get
Yes,
away with.
they will.
Oh,
But if you nip it in the bud at the beginning and let them know, we're not going to do this. We're not going to tolerate that. It won't foster other behaviors. It won't promote that other kind of activity. So says the non-parent.
Right. But I will agree with that. I will agree. And
I love it.
partly
I love
disagree
it.
too.
You know how they
So,
disagree?
ladies,
Partly
basically,
disagree.
we all have different opinions, as well as we know you, our viewers, have on parenting and raising these children. But they've all been very good and valid opinions. You know, everything everyone has said has a great point.
Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes,
think you
yes.
can take a little of it and work all well together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just remember the way you raise up a child. You raise that child up in the way you will go, and so they will always come back, you know?
That's real.
And remember, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child.
Ooh, Jesus, thank you for the
Our
ride.
viewers, we will love for you to send us in comments on this episode, because we know
Everybody
you
has
have a
different
lot of
points.
comments out
Yes.
there. And non-parents as well as parents.
Yes,
You know,
non-parents. We would love to
every-
hear your feedback. Tell us what you think.
Yes.
Send our
tell us,
parents
do
some
you
more advice.
agree with Rachel and what she said,
Right.
as being the outsider looking in.
Right.
You know, it was wonderful to have you.
I'm
Thank
so
you
glad
so much.
I was able to be
glad
here
you
Yes.
with you ladies. I'm so
It
glad I
was
was
a
able
pleasure.
to be with
You
you
really
all
had a
here.
lot of good points.
You did. You
It's
did.
from my wealth of experience
And I
As a
agree with
non-parent.
a lot
As a-
of your
as a
points
non-parent.
too.
as a
Non-parent.
non-parent. Exactly.
That
was good.
As a
That was good.
non-parent.
So, everybody out there, remember, Mom's Pearls
Answering life's questions.